Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Healing Journal, where I'm sharing my healing journey with you in real time. So today I thought I would sit out here by the water and take you guys with me. This is out on the Truman waterfront, actually, here in Key West. It's beautiful. There's a cruise ship right over there, I think getting ready to leave. It's one of the Margaritaville ships. I've never seen one of those here before. So anyway, it's a little windy. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So this is my first video after coming back from Thailand. My jet lag is serious, but it was so worth it. And I just wanted to talk today about living your life for yourself versus living your life for other people. And this is something that I've noticed not only in myself. All right. See you later. If you didn't make it on the boat, you're getting left behind. Here, I'll show you guys. Look at that, Margaritaville. All right, so back to where we are when we are living our life for ourselves versus other people. So I used to do this a lot in my singing. I knew that made one of my family members specifically so proud of me. And I knew that every time I did something good, they were proud of me. Truffles, why do you want to get out? You need to stay. Lay down. Yeah, we're doing a video. I know you want to go play with the other dogs, but we're going to do a video first. So, a lot of us do these things to, whether it be make our parents proud or make our siblings proud, or maybe we live our lives in certain ways because of how we're programmed to think that we're supposed to do things. And we put the willpower in other people. And recently I've discovered that the more we do that, the worse things get in our life and the harder they get. And then maybe when you reach your goals, right, suddenly you realize, what? You want to speak? See you later. No, come here. You're with me. So, the thing that we must remember is that it's really important for us to stay true to what's best for us and live our lives for ourselves. We're not doing anybody else any favors when we're doing anything in our life when it comes to our goals. When we're doing it for other people, especially if they're people that are no longer in our lives, that's a dangerous road to be on. It does not mean that you don't love these people. It does not mean that you don't respect these people. And it does not mean that you don't want to make them proud or anything like that. But these empty promises to yourself, because you're going to start feeling like, okay, wow, I just achieved that goal. And now there's no fulfillment. And you have to remember that there's fulfillment in the journey. And of course, if it makes you happy, okay, I put Truffles this way so she can see what's going on back here. So if it makes you happy along the way, that's fine. But just remember that your fulfillment is going to be about this big compared to what your fulfillment could be if you were living your life for yourself. And when I broke off an engagement and I decided to change my life and choose me because I could see the forest through the trees, even though I knew that was not going to be easy for me. And I thought everything's starting to look good on paper. And I thought that I really loved this person. But when I found out that this person didn't really love me, what could I do? I couldn't do anything about that. And a lot of times we reach for goals and we reach for things that are something that was programmed into us from when we were little. So whether that be something materialistic for you, like a house or a car or a specific status in a job, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And why do I want this? And is it what I really want? Because your happiness is going to be found in the desire, and you deserve what you desire. You guys are going to start to see this ship. It's going to come through here. There's the back end of it. So again, this is why we make the decisions we make, down to the relationships that we choose to be in, right? So let's say that you think you know what you want. Are you sure you know what you want? Or are you wanting it because someone told you to want it, or because you thought that that is what would make someone proud? And if by making somebody else proud makes you proud of yourself, it's a short lived feeling. And take it from me, I'll never forget when I realized that the things I was doing and the people that I was choosing to be around were because I thought that certain people in my personal life and from my childhood would approve of that. The problem with this is that a lot of it did not align with what I want in my life and what feels right for me, not comfortable. There's a difference. A lot of times we mix up, what feels comfortable for us and thinking that that's what's right. And a lot of times making my parents proud made me feel comfortable. Guess what? I can't care about that anymore. I have to do what's right for me. And if I'm not doing what's right for me, I'm taking a real slow ride to my goals. Now, this could be something that you relate to or not. And I think a lot of times we feel guilty for being selfish. Guess what? If you want to help other people and you want to be the best version of you, you're going to get there so much faster if you just focus on yourself. I've said this before in other videos, but it's about like that put your mask on the airplane before you help others. It's the same concept. So when I was in Thailand, it really brought a lot to the surface for me because it was an opportunity that came up out of the blue. I had 3 days notice before I got there, and not only did I get to cultivate new relationships, I got to improve and nurture ones that I already had, and I got to meet some incredible people. I made friends for life, and I experienced something that I never would have experienced if I hadn't chosen myself. And I chose myself, and it was so hard to walk away from something. And I haven't talked a lot about it on this channel, but when I walked away from a relationship that got really bad and it didn't work for me anymore, when I walked away, I didn't even know half of the truth of what was going on. Things that I never would have tolerated from the very beginning. The part that we must remember is that intuition of, am I staying with this because I'm being told to? Am I staying with this because I'm giving somebody too many chances because that's what I was taught to do when I was little, was give people so many chances they just run you over all the time? Yeah, that's what I wanted. Nothing more than a healthy, beautiful relationship. I wanted nothing more than to be the best wife. I wanted to be the best mom. I wanted to be the best version of myself. And as I worked on myself more and more, this made other people in my life that I'd known my whole life, not to mention my whole life, but also the people that I was signing up to be with forever, very uncomfortable. These are the signs that you have to look for. A lot of times people mistake you being selfish and taking care of yourself as a threat to them. It's a threat to their power over you. It's a threat to the narrative that they have built around who they think you are. And it is a threat to the control that they have over you and of their comfort zone in how they feel about you. And what we do is, even if it's innocent and it's not a bad situation, let's say some of these people that you do things for because you want to make them so proud. A lot of people do this, especially when they're choosing what they want to go to school for. You find that a lot of people go and they go reach for the stars and reach for their dreams. And it doesn't mean that they've not lived a good life, but they find themselves going, gosh, I really don't feel like I've lived for me yet. And then, I've had conversations with people and they're like, well, I really want to make my father proud, or I really would like to make my mom proud, or I really want to make my grandparents proud before they die and all this. And we all feel this way. We all do. But I must remind you that when you are living a life where you are stuck because you are trying to build a life around the opinions of anybody else but your own, and by opinion, I mean what is best for you based on your values, your core values, not someone else's. Sure, of course, you might have to go against what everyone else in your family chose was right for them. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm the black sheep of my family, and I come from the black sheep family, right? So my parents were also black sheeps in their family, and so on. That doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you better or worse than any other human being on this planet. It's just the circumstance, and you can choose how that circumstance turns out for you. Are you going to choose it based on what other people have told you to do, whether it be your teachers or friends? And that's why it's so important that it's about your willpower, not theirs. And you have to remember this, because otherwise you're going to end up so far out here. The biggest mistake we make is we think we have time. And I'm going to do a video on this because it triggers me, and I am leaning into my triggers, if you have not noticed. And it's really difficult for us to go, well, but I'll do that when I'm retired. Oh, I'll do that later. No, you might not. It's time now, right now. Don't listen to anyone else's crap. Don't listen to anybody else's opinion. This is your life. It's your time, not theirs. And if some of these people in your life have maybe passed away and you're still living your life for people who are passed away, which I have done, okay? I have been guilty of this too. You need to forget that. There's nothing wrong with remembering and having respect for and honoring people that you love that have passed in the physical, but they're still here in the non-physical, and that energy you can carry. And it doesn't mean that you have to make decisions and hurt yourself or make decisions that don't work for you. You may think they do too. You have to check yourself. You may be like, well, I'm working this job because I want to make so and so proud and it pays my bills. And sure, it's pretty cool. But is this job hurting you in any way? Have you asked yourself that? Is this job something that makes you feel whole? Is it something that you know is your direction, or is it the direction coming from the opinions of other people? So that's what you have to do. And you have to remember that if you're going to keep doing this, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be fulfilled in life to a degree, but there's so much more out there. I remember asking myself, why am I singing? And I love to sing, but why am I singing and doing this with singing? Or why am I not doing certain things, right? And why am I doing them the way that I'm doing them? Maybe you are on the right career path. Maybe you are with the right people, but maybe you haven't asked yourself, is there a better way that I could be doing this? Is there a healthier way I could be doing this? Is there a way that I could go about living my life and reaching for the stars that aligns more with a broader picture of what I am interested in, not what someone else is? This is another reason why I walked away from living in Nashville. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to live in Nashville someday for a little portion of my time. But the only reason that I would do that is to be surrounded by other creatives, other artists, other producers, right? So that I can create. But to live a day to day lifestyle, that doesn't work for me there. Why? I love the ocean. That's what works for me. I want to know that my home base has some kind of water around it if I can help it, right? Now, this is where people get stuck and they go, well, why am I living this life in this city? Ask yourself that. Tomorrow's not promised. I wanted to live on an island. I wanted to be around the people that live here. I wanted to be able to walk out my doorstep and go play a show the way I wanted to play it, the way that it was accepted in the way that I want to be accepted, which is live your life like you're on vacation. Live your life. And it doesn't mean that you stop paying your bills. It doesn't mean that you stop your value system. It means that that's what worked for me. That's what I'm doing. And a lot of people rolled their eyes at that. A lot of people said she's ruining her career. Well, I ruined a version of a career, but that was on purpose. I didn't want that career. I tried for that career for a very long time, and all it did was give me anxiety. All it did was make me unhappy. All it did was create more problems in my life that were going in the opposite direction of how I wanted to feel. Maybe being a huge superstar, especially a decade ago, was not for me. Not maybe, definitely. I don't want to live that life. I want control of my life. I don't want people controlling me. That's what works for me. Why? Not because someone told me, not because somebody said that's how I should be, but that's because that's what feels right for me. So don't lock yourself and tie yourself to other people's narrative and opinions. You guys are right now propped up. I'm going to show you in a second, but you're propped up on what they tie these ships to. You're propped up on it. You're not tied to it. Okay? I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is what and Truffles went to sleep. She just wanted to look out to the ocean. She was not happy with looking at the building. But again, you're not tied to this. You're not stuck here, right? This is a temporary situation. Doesn't mean you have to remove yourself from the people and the things and the narratives that want to tie you down. A lot of times people don't even realize they're doing this. It drives me crazy, and I have to hold myself back from preaching to people when I'm like, okay, why are you doing that? Because you want to make your parents proud of you. Like, don't you think they're going to be proud if they see you successful and happy? And do you know what's going to happen if you just do what you want to do? You're going to be successful and happy. Does it look exactly like how it used to look 50 years ago? No. Should it? No. Can it? No. Not long term. That is not sustainable. For a long time, I used to sing and sing and sing, and I was so proud of singing so much. The problem was I was hurting my voice. I started to lose my voice. And I'm going to do a lot of videos on this because I know it was the biggest turmoil, honestly, to lose my tool, to lose my gift. And I was losing it because I was overworking myself. Why? Because I was making the most money I had ever made in my life, doing what I love, and it was in this beautiful place, but I didn't know how to balance it. I was taking on too many commitments, and I was using that old operating system that I had learned to work, and then retire. And that just wasn't working. So I decided to rearrange how I look at business. And that's how I got into painting. That's how I got into doing other things that brought me joy that didn't hurt me. Was singing hurting me? Yes, it was. And I knew my dad and my mom and everybody was so proud of me for singing so much. And then when I stopped singing so much, I started to charge what I was worth. I brought the amount of time that I was singing down, and I brought the quality of what I was providing up. I had this anxiety that, my gosh, these people that love me and know me, or even people that don't love and know me, are going to think I'm lazy because I'm not singing as much. But you know what happened? I started bringing in more money. I started bringing more joy. I didn't have to cancel shows anymore. It was amazing. And I was still doing what I love, but I was doing it the way that I wanted to, not the way that society says. If you're a really hard worker, you're going to do great. Well, just because you're expelling more energy doesn't mean you're doing a better job. And I was hurting myself. I was hurting my voice. I was addicted to go. And then because of that, really wore myself out. And in the long term, nearly permanently damaged my gift. And it wasn't until 20 that I was like, I'm going to do the opposite of what I know, and I'm going to just not sing. I'm going to take a break. And it was the greatest gift I ever gave myself. It allowed me to realign what works for me. Oh, it's starting to rain. That's probably what Truffles was telling me. At least she has a dome to sleep in. And I realized not everybody can take a break from their job. Okay, but this is the mindset. Try to start thinking about what things you would change to get to these goals of living your life for you, not anyone else. So I hope that makes sense today. And, you know, even if it's just practicing the thought without doing, just remember that action is the answer once you've really embodied this information, because that's where you're going to find the shift. So now that it's raining, I'm going to put my stuff away, but I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you as often as possible. I promise you that. And I'm going to start making more of my vlogs where they're more cinematic and storytelling. And I'm also in the process of creating a digital media business so that will help other people. And so I want to provide that for people. And that will also enable me to continue traveling and doing things that I love that aren't necessarily just in one place. So, does that sound like a good idea to probably most of the people that taught me in school, raised me, etc.? No. And I can tell you, I was in a relationship. I've been in multiple relationships where the people I was with have always thought what I do is strange, and they think it's cool up until it makes them nervous, because I have that entrepreneurial mind and it's just what works for me. That's okay if it doesn't work for you. All of this information is about applying it into how it works for you. Don't live your life for anyone else. Do it for you. And then everything else starts to pan out, and it's going to change. It's going to feel weird. It's going to get different. It's going to get uncomfortable. But I promise that these things are the signs, they're the signals, they're the answers to really living your life. And I know because I'm doing it. I don't have any of this mastered, okay? But I can tell you that I pulled myself up from a situation where I was settling because I knew that it was making other people proud. I knew I was improving other people's lives. And I was dimming my light and lowering my standards and not doing what aligned with me. Again, it doesn't make me better. I'm just different. And when I started to do that, it made people really uncomfortable. It made people that I love dearly uncomfortable, even though it didn't have anything to do with them. Nothing. They threatened me. My life has been threatened over this nonsense. Okay? My life. That's crazy. So, when people start to react to you changing yourself for the better, and you haven't done anything to hurt anybody, and you suddenly have your own opinion, and you start to see the reality of the situation, and you're like, hey, I think it's time for me to actually live my life for myself. And I'm going to have to change some things, and it's going to make me uncomfortable. It's going to make other people uncomfortable. It's a scary tightrope to walk, but once you get on that tightrope and you get to that other side, you can wave at them from the other side and say, hey, I'm over here. You guys want to join me? But you're going to have to walk that rope too. A lot of people don't want to make that change. And I mean that. I don't mean that literally, okay? I don't mean that like, hey, you have to copy exactly what I did to just be cool like me. No, 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 no. You have to let them accept you for who you are. And when they do that, they will walk that rope and they will swallow their pride and they will say, I am proud of you. You're doing a great job. And you know what? They deserve that compliment too. But don't give it to them and don't give it to anybody else until you've done it for you. And then you start to see the changes. And if other people are going to hold you back from your dreams, if other people are going to continue to disrespect you, get overly involved in your personal life and tell you what to do with it, we all are guilty of this. You've got to catch yourself and don't do this to the point where you lose yourself, right? That's why I love posting these videos because people can find them or not. People can listen to them or not. So, am I telling you what to do? A little bit. Am I telling you how to do it? A little bit. Do you have to do any of this? Absolutely not. And I definitely don't recommend doing it until you're ready. That being said, no matter what, you should always be living your life for you, not for anyone else. And the people that say that you're living your life for God, in my opinion, have just been brainwashed. Because I believe that all of us are God. I believe all of us have God within us. Okay? And by that I mean higher power or however you want to understand that. That's what I believe we all have God within us. And I think that God is made proud when we realize this and we live our life. It is a miracle that we're even born. It is a miracle we're even born. And it is such a gift. And I think that being lazy, and even I am a guilty person of procrastinating things that I care about, okay? Things like this only lengthen the trip to getting to the destination of where you want to go. And for me, I like to create little mini destinations along the way because I just enjoy the journey. And I really believe that the happiness is found in that desire. Because once you've reached the goal, it's like, now what do I do? Live your life for you, nobody else. And then all of a sudden, it's all going to come together. And guess what? If the people in your life that disapprove of what you're doing bother you, you've got to learn to turn that off. Turn it off. Practice. Even if it means imagining yourself doing it. That's what your imagination is for. Use it for that. Don't imagine what you don't want to happen and then fixate over it and not make any change in your life. Don't do that. I've done that. It's not a long-term plan. So it's your willpower that's your fuel to fuel your life. It's your life. Live it for you. Not at the mercy, the power of anyone else. It doesn't matter if you're related to them, friends with them, in a relationship with them, if they're running your country, none of it. Do what's right for you. Okay? I hope that helps you. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You a good girl? You okay? Are you hiding? Yeah.